Today, I'm going to take a look at this 97 Maico 500. The front brake is the problem with this bike. As it sits, or even when you ride it, it just slowly locks up. And one day you try to go and all of a sudden you just fall flat in your face. Fall flat in your face. I mean, last time I've been riding it, that's what happened. So I had to keep bleeding the brakes. Like 5 minutes. But right now, is it locked up? Let's even see if it's locked up right now. Haven't even touched the brakes yet. Let's see if it's locked up. Yeah, well, a little bit ago when I tried it, it was locked up after I had touched it. It may have gotten a little bit looser than it used to be, but I'm going to take it off now anyways. And yeah, you can see it's on it pretty tight. Let's try this. Brakes out, brake pads out, so well, I sprayed some liquid wrench on it, let it sit. Then I was able to pump one of them out. This one here is out. So I cleaned it up a bit. And it seemed like it was working because it was going back in and out. But there is one that's still, it's just not budging. It's just stuck on there. It's that one there, top one. Usually you can clean these things out. You know, that's all I've had to do in the past. I just clean them out, and they're usually pretty good. You know, don't really see anything wrong here. My CR500 one, I did that a long time ago. That one was really locked up. This one seemed to have been kind of working. CR500 was completely locked up. I was able to pump it out, but. And then work it back and forth. This bottom one looks like it's fine. The top one is the issue right now. That's the one that I'm going to try to get back in. Try and force it back in or something. Or try to... It's almost out. If I can see if I can just get it out. But it's all, you know... There it goes. All right, finally got them both out then. All right. All right, so this is it here. Now this bike is the one I bought that only had a couple hours on it of riding, and it just sat since 1997. So everything is actually just going to be from sitting. It's not going to be from wear. So you can see that there's like no wear on this thing. The second one had already come out before, but now I put it back in and get the other one out. And now it's going to be a little bit more tough to get back out again. Okay, as you can see, there's some fluid in there. So mostly just going to lubricate these things up. Yeah, and the seals don't look bad. Yeah, so the next thing is dry them out, then try to clean them out. Then try to put them back together with a little bit of lubricant in there. Check out these seals, make sure there's nothing wrong with them. This is a little bit dirty, but I'm just doing a quick dip on the surface here. Okay. It's a little bigger dip here. Alright, so I got them both back in there. We'll see. They'll flat now, but see if that works. Loosened them up a bit. You know, could have just been seals were dry for so long. I had for the bottom one I had to use this clamp to push it in, but it went in pretty easy. You know, and before it was also working, it was coming in and out slowly, so I think it was the bottom one, not the top one. So it was already kind of loosened up. There we go. Okay, now just gonna bleed it. When we break it still does end up locking up when it's off the stand. When I roll it back and forth, it does seem to loosen up a bit. So I'm wondering if it could be up with this piece. I wonder if the tire is over too far, because it's catching on the outer one. So if the tire is over too far, I might have to go that way a little bit. Second thing is this could be bent, and the disc could be bent. And one of the things I'm thinking why that could be the case is if I go this around, yeah, right there, it's not doing anything. See if I zoom in there on the caliper. If I will zoom in on it. Let me see if I can zoom in on the caliper there. So you look at that, nothing's happening. Now if I turn this, the caliper's moving now. So if it doesn't look bent, that disc could be bent, so I need to take that out and see if that's the case. Take this off. The problem over here. So as I was saying, whenever this lever is not completely engaged, that's out, you should be able to do a reverse flow back up into here. And I verified this on a couple other ones where I have my air hose and I blow my air hose into here and you would see the air coming out there. And this one here, nothing comes out there. And in fact, after I did that, now it's not even working at all. So the problem at the end of the day is actually this. After I popped the top plastic piece out, it looks like half of it is hugely corroded, like there's something stuck in there. So I'm gonna try and see if I can clean that out. And that's probably what's blocking this thing. So I cleaned it up a bit. You can see in there, looks a lot better in there. Yeah, you can see I cleaned it up in there. I also cleaned it up inside there. A little better. Still, the air's not coming in, so I'm gonna have to try to take this thing off. See if I can take this apart here and see what's going on. All right, so that's what's in there. If you look at this thing, there are essentially two holes here, a small one and a big one. And this goes in here like this. I think the problem is likely this. The little one is clogged. I don't know if I have anything small enough to get in there and unclog it though. Well, so that was the problem. That front little jet was clogged. Front little thing there was clogged. But it's closed all the way. That little jet is opened. And it can spill out to the bottom. So that's why it was clogged and it wasn't working. All right, so that just clicks back into place. It's got a little ring around it, it clicks right back in. So what we have here on the outside is inside here we have that little piece that went in there with two seals on it, a little spring, and then a little clip here. On the inside we have this thing here that was clipped on. We clipped it off, we cleaned inside of that. There's a big hole in the back for whenever you push the fluid forward and they're drawing more fluid. And there's a small pin in the front that's always active that can allow the fluid to drain down to the caliper. So that's what was clogged. This whole thing was dirty. This was it for 20 years. What do you expect, I guess? But so now we are going to be putting this thing back together. We pretty much fixed everything that possibly could be wrong with this thing. Well, you can see that this is back on, the front tire is back on. In fact, its brakes haven't even bled or anything yet. I haven't put any fluid in it. So right now it's been smooth. There's no brakes. Everything's back to step A. We've cleaned out completely the caliper. I cleaned out the pistons. I cleaned out this line. I cleaned completely out this master cylinder. So everything is like completely clean compared to what it was. So this thing in today, just a syringe thing to help you redo the reverse brake bleed. I'm gonna try it out on this bike here. And you got this syringe here. Hook it up to this thing. Okay, here we go. We're going to open this now. Okay, keep it on there. Let's see how this goes. Is it tight enough on there? Definitely bubbling at the top. Okay, so right there. All right, well, let's give it some tests. Let me. Yeah, definitely not smoother than it was. So now the only thing to do is ride it. So, I mean, this bike was sitting for a very long time. And so, you know, people were like, oh yeah, you should have cleaned that up. You know, well, I did. I cleaned the brake fluid, put new stuff in. I didn't think to clean out the entire system like this. You know, the back brakes were fine. And you never know what's going to go wrong when something's sitting. So, you know, somebody who had got a bike like this that was sitting for, 20 years, took it out for a ride and the wrist pin broke because it was rusted and destroyed the cylinder. Now, this bike here restored the wheel bearings. Other bikes do different things. So unless you're going to go through and, clean out all that stuff, replace everything, replace all the wheel bearings, replace all the seals in the whole engine, rebuild the entire engine, which maybe you should do, but if you get this bike like this, you just want to ride it, you're just going to find things that are going wrong with it and fix them along the way, and some are more devastating than others. But so far, the big issue, the last big issue that I have right now was just this brake, and it looks like that should have fixed it.